All right, picture this. You move into a nice neighborhood, thinking it's going to be calm and peaceful. Barbecues on the weekend, mowing the lawn, waving at the neighbors. Sounds perfect, right? Wrong. Because the HOA president, and let's just call her Karen, decided to make my life her personal hobby. Now, you'd think an HOA is supposed to keep things neat and organized, stop people from painting their house neon green or turning their yard into a junkyard. But no, Karen turned the HOA into her own little kingdom, and from the day I moved in, I was her target. My grass? Too long. Even when I had just mowed it, my trash bins? Out too early. No, they were put out exactly on time. And here's the kicker. She once tried to fine me because my car was apparently too dirty. In my own driveway. Like, Karen, do you want to come wash it for me then? But the final straw, the one that broke everything, was the mailbox. One day, Karen decides to fine me $500. And for what? A non-approved mailbox. Which was hilarious because not only was it the exact same mailbox that came with the house, but it was identical to every single other mailbox in the neighborhood. I pointed this out politely, and Karen just smirks, tilts her head, and says, "Well, I don't like it. You'll need to replace it or pay the fine." And that's when I thought, okay, Karen, if you want to play games, let's play. So I grabbed the HOA rulebook. This thing is massive, but I read through it like I was cramming for an exam. And then, buried inside, I find the golden ticket. A tiny little line that says, any changes to neighborhood aesthetics must be approved by the city. Jackpot. So I make a call to the city inspector, just casually explaining the situation. And, oh, the inspector was very interested. Turns out the HOA had been enforcing all kinds of rules. Mailboxes, fences, even driveway colors, without ever bothering to get city approval. Fast forward a bit, and the city launches a full investigation. And what do they find? Every single change Karen had been policing was completely illegal. None of it was approved. So what happens next? The city slaps the HOA with over $20,000 in fines. 20 grand! And suddenly, Karen wasn't so smug anymore. Of course, Karen storms over to me, fuming, pointing fingers, accusing me of reporting them. And I just smiled and said, "I'm just following the rules, Karen. You understand, right?" And watching her face drop, it was like watching a balloon deflate in slow motion. But here's the cherry on top. Remember that mailbox she hated so much? Yeah, turns out her own mailbox wasn't compliant with city rules either. Guess who had to go buy a new one? That's right, Karen. Absolute poetic justice. So in the end, Karen's little power trip cost her and her precious HOA $20,000, plus the embarrassment of replacing her own mailbox. And me? I gotta keep mine. Perfectly fine, totally legal, and 100% free. Now let me ask you, if you had a Karen in your neighborhood, would you go full detective mode like I did? Or would you just put up with it? Because I'll tell you this, never underestimate someone with time, patience, and a copy of the rulebook.